Hey everybody, welcome back to Terran's Books Beyond, and right now we are in the middle of a blackout. It doesn't look like it's rainy or anything, so it was probably because it got too hot or something, and you know what they say, if you can't handle the heat, get out of Saskatchewan, because the province does not experience spring. So I can't do any of the chores I set out to do today, and I really can't even shower right now, which is why I'm still in my pajamas. But one of the few things I can do is film my May wrap-up, so that's what this is. So the first book that I read in May was Wenjack by Joseph Boyden. This is a novella that tells the true story of Chani Wenjack, who was an Ojibwe boy who escaped from a residential school in 1964 and tried to make his way back home on foot, but between the fact that he didn't know how far away he was from home and the coming winter, he unfortunately was found dead 3 days later. It's a really tragic story that really highlights the brutality and the horrors that came out of the residential school system in Canada. And this story tries to assuage that somewhat, I guess, by also incorporating the Manitou, or several nature spirits that were part of the Ojibwe faith, and has them watching and monitoring Chani as he tries to make an escape, and eventually, as he passes away, they kind of take his spirit with them, and he's able to find some modicum of peace, and that's what the book is trying to do, is trying to give him peace in spite of all the brutality and the hurt that he has faced. I read the whole thing in an hour, and I was in tears at the end. I didn't really write a review because I couldn't think of the words that could fully encapsulate how good it is, but I guess all I would say is just pure emotion coming out of this. Everyone should read it, especially if you live in Canada. You should definitely read this. After that, I read something a little bit lighter, a horror novel. Hex by Thomas Oldwayville tells the story of a small town in New York that has been haunted and cursed by the ghost of a witch for the past several centuries. Basically, no one who lives in the town can ever leave for an extended period of time, otherwise they get consumed by despair and kill themselves. And also, the witch herself wanders through town and spontaneously appears in various locations, including people's houses. They've been dealing with her for so long that she's kind of just become part of the landscape of the town. However, everything is starting to fall apart due to several grudges between townsfolk and also a group of the younger kids who want to go public with the witch and try and seek outside help so that they don't have to be stuck in the town all their lives. It's very well written, very horrifying. Thomas Oldwayville, he really knows how to build suspense and how to draw you into the terror that slowly grows and consumes the town. And I haven't read a horror novel since October, so I was really glad that I was able to jump into something this quality when I got back to the genre. After that, I read Volume 2 of A Silent Voice by Yoshitaka Oima. It is a slice of life manga about a former bully and a deaf girl, and they're trying to become friends after having a really antagonistic past with each other. I already did a much longer and much more in-depth video of both this and the first volume, so all I'm going to say right now is that I really liked it, and I would recommend it. I also read We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchison. This is a book about a boy named Henry whose life sucks. His boyfriend killed himself last year, his mom is chain smoking, his grandmother has Alzheimer's and it's only getting worse, and his brother just dropped out of college because he got his girlfriend pregnant. All in all, everything sucks, and it's not helped by the fact that Henry is quite often abducted by aliens, who have just recently given him the option to save the Earth from its impending destruction in 144 days just by pressing a little red button. And Henry really doesn't know if he wants to press that button because everything is so awful. Like, is it even worth saving the human race if all they're gonna do is keep on hurting each other? And so as the book rolls out, we see the ups and downs of Henry's life, we see some flashbacks to when things were better, and we see things start to change when he finally tries to move on past the death of his boyfriend, and he tries to reconnect with his former best friend, and he finds a new guy that he can maybe be in a couple with. This is another book I would say is written with a lot of emotion. I really felt everything the characters were going through, and its other big strength is that all of the characters have, like, they all can be assholes, but they all have sympathetic sides as well, so you end up feeling for everyone, whether you hate them by the end of the book or not. And the last thing I read, which I literally just read last night, is James Bond's Service by Kieran Gillen and art by Antonio Fuso. This is published by Dynamite Comics, who have apparently been doing James Bond comics for like the past 2 years, which I guess I never would have paid attention because I'm not a huge James Bond fan. The only reason I picked this up was because Kieran Gillen is one of my favorite writers, and so I just kind of had to get it on principle. James Bond is caught in the middle of a bit of a diplomatic spat between America and Britain because a new Secretary of State is questioning the special relationship, and so James Bond kind of has to prove MI6's worth to America, which includes taking down an attempt on the Secretary of State's life. I thought this was way too short. It really could have used 2 issues or 3 issues just to breathe more and help the stakes raise naturally instead of having to kind of rush headfirst into it, but I still gave it 4 stars, and I mentioned in my review, this is one of those situations where the whole is not quite as good as the sum of its parts, because it's really just those smaller facets of the comic that help elevate it to a quality standard rather than all of them coming together, because they don't really come together by the end, I felt. So that's everything I read in May, and yeah, the power's still out. Well, I guess the only acoustic thing I can do is read more. So I guess it all works out in the end. Somehow. Whatever. It's until next time, I'll see you all later.